Yeah, so I'm out on my front porch, barbecuing some bison burgers, and thought I'd make a recording because this evening I cracked the cover on a new book. This is The Way of the Fight by Georges StPierre, and I'm in that kind of mode right now where I'm interested in reading some fighter biography type of things. I just finished B.J. Penn's book not too long ago, or one of his books, and a couple of weeks ago maybe, and thought I'd get into another title. So I opened up this one and read the introductory chapter, and actually I'm blown away. It's not at all what I expected it to be. In fact, I don't know what it is. All I know is that it is excellent writing, and it looks like it's going to be a kind of a biographical slash self-help slash life lessons slash I don't know what philosophy. Yeah, I'm really impressed, and I right off the bat, my question really is, did Georges StPierre write this? Because there is an allusion in the introductory to that he might have had a ghost writer. I mean, it's hard to say, but he says, I didn't write this book myself. I had the help of several people whose voices we're going to hear in the chapters, including his mom, his mentor, his master, his maven, and his own conscience. And each of these has a influential figure attached to them, somebody that's been an influence in George's life. But he also kind of says, that everything he does, he has a whole team working on it, and so he does hire out for things when he doesn't have the skills. And so I don't know if he actually wrote the book or what, but if he did, he doesn't have to worry about his career after the UFC, because he can very easily be a writer. He's an excellent writer, or whoever wrote this is an excellent writer. I myself am not too bad of a writer, both creatively and academically, but yeah, I'm blown away by just this introductory chapter alone, and so I'm really looking forward to getting into the book, because it's definitely not going to be the typical kind of linear autobiography of a fighter that I'm used to from reading boxers' autobiographies and then recently B.J. Penn's Why I Fight. So yeah, what is the contents of George's introduction? There's a bunch of stuff in there. It's actually very interesting. It sounds like this is the way the book is going to be organized in general. All different kinds of thoughts that somehow meaningfully coalesce, and the introduction here starts off with kind of a straight sequence of what George's day is like, beginning from the evening before, because his today is always began with yesterday. And carrying him through, his sequence of activity, what he does in an average day. And it's pretty straightforward. Doing his laundry, getting his training gear prepared, and then waking up, hopefully before his alarm goes off, and throwing his stuff together really quick, 5 minutes out the door. Goes to have breakfast with friends, eats lots of eggs, and goes to train for a couple of hours, then he has a break, he has a meal, again with friends, he has a nap, goes to train again, another couple of hours. Could be, his training could involve, you know, any number of different arts, or a mixture of them. Could be fast-paced, could be slow. And after his second round of training, going to have a meal again with friends, go back home, you know, get his put his fight gear in the laundry, dry out his gloves, dry out his hand wraps, you know, get ready to go to bed. Really straightforward. Then he goes into talking about what the book is going to be about, or what motivated the book, and it's basically being written, I guess, at the time when he's getting ready to go into major surgery, which I suspect was for his ACL. And he's looking toward reinventing himself, and so it's a good time to write the book, because what he's going to put in the book, which I think is kind of, again, like self-help / philosophy / life lessons, what he's going to put in the book is also going to be what he is applying in his own life as he starts to get a plan to reinvent himself after his ACL surgery. And so, yeah, it's just a really interesting introductory chapter, just so well written. And, you know, to somebody who appreciates good writing, you know, I'm already caught. I'm ready to get in and read the first part of the book. The book is organized in 5 parts, kind of like the Book of 5 Rings. But each of them is associated, like I said, with a voice that's been a guiding voice in George's life, from his mother to his mentor to his master to his maven to his conscience. And the 3 middle chapters, he has said, which are the mentor, master, maven. He has said this is the ground book, the transition book, and the standing book, and he's associating that with kind of the flow of mixed martial arts. So in a way, you know, it does have that Book of 5 Rings kind of tone to it. You know, I can kind of sense that there's some influence there, and it's definitely going to be a philosophy, martial arts kind of philosophy kind of book. But it's also going to be autobiography, and it's also going to be a guide. You know, it seems like he wants it to be used, hopefully, to help people in their own lives. He even has a part in the introduction where he's like, okay, if you're not going to read the book, or if you don't have time to read the book, you know, just get this much. And what he lays out is basically you need to have a plan. You need to have an objective, a goal, something in mind, and a plan, step by step, how to get there, and then carry out that plan. But it's never easy. And so I don't know what the book is going to be, but I'm excited to get into it. My impressions from the introduction are that this is going to be an excellent read. So we'll know as we get further in. Yeah, one additional thing I forgot to say that I wanted to put in here, because these are actually my reading notes, as well as my reflections, as well as my testimony about the book to others. But there is a part in the introduction where he talks about doors, and how, well, he talks about learning quite a bit, and knowledge, and how the more you know, the less you know. So the more is less. That if somebody, you know, really studies a topic, they find that there is so much more to learn, and therefore they know less than when they got into it. He really seems to be emphasizing Aristotle's philosophies, and so he's talking about knowledge, and how people need to have an open mind, and at least allow yourself to peek in the door. He says, you know, at one time he was very closed, and he thought, for instance, that gymnastics was not worth his time. Now he has a policy where he allows himself to at least try it and then see if you like it before just judging it. And so open the door and get a peek at what's behind the door. Then you'll know whether or not it's gonna be appropriate to you or not. And now, having looked into he includes gymnastics in his training, and really looks up to gymnasts and their ability to generate a lot of power out of strange body positions. So yeah, I just wanted to include that in my notes. And it looks like my bison burgers are getting almost done. Just got to put the cheese on them and get that melted, and I'm gonna have some dinner and get into the first chapter, the first part of this book.